Hi, I'm a nurse with over 20 years of experience. I have worked in the hospital setting as well as being a school nurse and currently a home health nurse. So from all my years of nursing experience, there are some things that patients and visitors should not be doing when they come to the hospital. Today, I will share with you the do's and don'ts of visiting someone in the hospital. First off, let me say this: hospitals can be scary places. And if you're visiting someone who is sick or injured, it's natural to want to help out any way you can. But just like anything else, there are certain rules that you need to follow when visiting a patient in the hospital. That's right, even you. So without further ado, let's jump into the first do and don't of visiting a patient in the hospital. No. 1. Do bring a book or something to pass the time. When you're visiting someone in the hospital, you may think that you'll be able to keep them company for hours on end. But trust me, it's not that easy. You'll be surprised at how bored your loved one can get really fast. Bring along a book or something to pass the time. This could be music, maybe a tablet, games or magazines. It's also a good idea to bring along a phone charger, because staying connected with friends and family can be really uplifting for patients. Just make sure to check with the hospital beforehand about their policy regarding electronics and devices that can be used at the bedside. Some hospitals are really cracking down on certain types of medical equipment that can interfere with the patient's care and monitoring. On the other hand, don't bring anything that could potentially harm the patient. I know this sounds like common sense, but you'd be surprised at what people try to bring into a hospital. Things like sharp objects, candles, or anything flammable should never be brought to a patient's room. Hospitals have strict policies against these items for safety reasons. And trust me, you don't want to be the person who tries to sneak a lighter into the hospital. Believe me, security will find out and you will be banned from coming back. Also, avoid bringing flowers or plants into the hospital. Believe it or not, many hospitals actually ban these because of allergies. Plus, let's face it, flowers are just going to die, and then you'll have an unpleasant smell in the hospital room. Nobody wants that. Instead, consider bringing a soft toy or plant instead. These can be much more uplifting for a patient without causing any allergies or mess. Let's move on to the next do and don't of visiting a patient in the hospital. No. 2. Do keep your visits short and sweet. We get it. You love your friend or family member and want to spend every waking moment with them. But trust us, they need their rest. Visiting hours are in place for a reason so that patients can get the rest they need to heal. Plus, there are bound to be doctors and nurses coming in and out of the room throughout the day. And believe me, they won't be happy if they can't get in because you taking up the whole room. So unless you've been specifically asked by the patient to stay for an extended period of time, keep your visit short and sweet. This is especially important during visiting hours. Be respectful of other visitors who also want to see their loved ones. Now, on the flip side, don't stay if you're feeling sick. If you're feeling under the weather, it's probably best to cancel your visit altogether. You don't want to risk getting your loved one sick, especially if they're already immunocompromised. It's just not worth it. Trust me, they'll understand if you have to cancel due to illness. Just make sure to let them know you'll visit next time. Moving on to the next do and don't of visiting a patient in the hospital. No. 3. Do bring a little treat. Everyone loves a little treat now and again, especially if it's homemade. But did you know that you can actually bring food into a hospital? Of course, this depends on the hospital and the patient's diet restrictions. So be sure to check with the hospital beforehand. But if you do get the green light, go ahead and bring in a little treat. Maybe a favorite candy bar or a homemade dessert. Just make sure it's easy to eat since the patient may not have full use of their hands or be feeling nauseous. It's also a good idea to avoid greasy or heavy foods, since these can upset a patient's stomach. And trust me, nobody wants to deal with that mess. But a little treat can go a long way in cheering up a patient and letting them know that you care. Now, don't bring a live animal into the hospital. As much as we love our furry friends, they just don't belong in a hospital. Not only could they spread germs, but they could also trigger allergies or even attack someone. No one wants to see a dog or cat running around a hospital hallway. Trust us, hospitals take these matters very seriously and you could be banned for life if you try to sneak in a pet. So leave the animals at home where they belong. Let's move on to the next do and don't of visiting a patient in the hospital. No. 4. Do wash your hands before and after your visit. This is a no-brainer. Washing your hands is the best way to prevent the spread of germs. And you definitely don't want to be the reason your loved one gets an infection. Most hospitals will provide hand sanitizer at the entrance of the patient's room. so be sure to use it before entering. And don't forget to do it again on your way out. This is especially important if you're visiting someone who's immunocompromised, so please do your part to keep everyone safe and healthy. And while we're on the topic of germs, don't wear heavily scented products. We get it. You like to smell good, but trust us, your perfume or cologne could be giving your patient a headache. Many people are sensitive to strong smells, especially when they're sick. So do everyone a favor and skip the heavily scented products when visiting a patient in the hospital. Hospitals are usually pretty good at keeping the place smelling fresh, so your floral perfume is just not needed. Next up on our list of do's and don'ts of visiting a patient in the hospital is to ask before taking photos. We all want to remember our visit with a cute photo of us and our loved one. But before you snap that picture, be sure to ask permission. You'd be surprised at how many patients are actually uncomfortable with pictures being taken. They may be feeling self-conscious or embarrassed about their appearance, so it's always best to ask first. And if the patient does agree, be respectful and take the picture quickly. No one wants to be stuck in the hospital bed for hours while you take the perfect shot. Speaking of taking a picture, don't use your camera flash. This is a big no-no. Using the flash can be blinding for a patient who is already dealing with a lot of pain and discomfort. Plus, it's just rude. No one wants to be startled by a bright flash in their face. So do everyone a favor and use the natural light in the room. And hey, if the room is too dark for your camera, just use your phone. Most modern phones have great cameras that will work just fine. Moving on to the next do and don't of visiting a patient in the hospital. Number 6. Do bring a blanket or pillowcase. Hospitals aren't exactly known for their comfortable bedding, so if you really want to be a hero to your loved one, bring a blanket or pillowcase from home. Just make sure it's clean and free of any allergens. And if you're worried about the hospital not allowing outside blankets, you can always bring one in a bag or box. That way, if the hospital doesn't allow it, you can just pack it back up and take it home. But if they do allow it, your loved one will surely appreciate the gesture. After all, it's not often that you get to choose your bedding when you're in the hospital. Now on the other hand, don't bring a live Christmas tree or decorations into the hospital. We get it, you're excited for the holidays, but a live Christmas tree is just not allowed in most hospitals. They're a fire hazard, and hospitals take safety very seriously. So unfortunately, you'll have to wait until your loved one is back home to decorate. But that doesn't mean you can't bring some holiday cheer in another way. How about bringing in a holiday-themed get well soon card or maybe a small plant? Just make sure it's not a real tree. Before we wrap up this video, let's talk about one last do and don't of visiting a patient in the hospital. Number 7. Do talk to the patient, but don't talk for them. Yes, it can be tempting to tell the nurse everything about your friend or family member's condition. But believe me, the staff has heard it all before. So instead, focus on talking to the patient and letting them do the talking. Ask them how they're feeling and listen to their concerns. They may want to talk about their condition, but if they don't, just change the subject to something more pleasant. Believe it or not, sometimes patients just want to chat about everyday things like the weather or current events. So be prepared to talk about more than just their medical condition. On the flip side, don't argue with the staff. I know it can be frustrating when your loved one is in pain, and you feel like the staff isn't doing enough. But trust me, they're doing everything they can. Argue with the staff is just going to make your visit even more unpleasant for everyone involved. So take a deep breath and relax. Your loved one is in good hands. So, there you have it, 7 do's and don'ts of visiting a patient in the hospital. By following these simple rules, you can help ensure that your visit is enjoyable for both you and your loved one. Remember, a little kindness goes a long way. So be respectful, be patient, and be positive. Before you know it, your friend or family member will be back home and feeling better than ever. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching. Until next time.